Welcome back, Europe West. This is Dr. Jason Terhorst, Superintendent of Europe West, coming back to you this summer in August. Looking forward to kicking off. I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for all their hard work again last year. I hope everyone had a restful and rejuvenating summer break. Thankful everybody's back safe and ready to go to get great outcomes for our students in Europe West once again in school year 23-24. I'm going to start today's JT Journal just by giving you an overview of some revisions that we made in the district action plan this year. A couple of things that I wanted to highlight. At the elementary level, of course, we had the advent of high quality instructional practices, or HQIP, and I was able to get out to a few school sites and see the professional learning that ensued as a result of that. Some really good work in the schools I visited, great conversations between teachers looking at those high quality instructional practices. As always, at the district office, we're interested in supporting the efforts of our teachers and support staff in meeting the needs of our students, and so we have a couple of plans that we're putting in place to really do our best to support your work. To begin with, we have a comprehensive DoDEA Europe West website that we're putting together on SharePoint that will be directly linked to many resources. We're going to have all of the DoDEA documentation, the guide for professional learning, the guide to FCTs, our performance elements and how they relate to HQIP, and all those things in one place, a one-stop shop, if you will, to really try and focus our efforts and ensure that we're doing our very best to communicate effectively, clearly, and consistently. So within that website, when it becomes live to teachers, you'll also find a page that is dedicated for our elementary friends to supporting the work that we plan to roll into this year with another teacher work group focused on high quality instructional practices. What we're going to ask that group to do is work as a group to build differentiated, integrated content learning stations that can be utilized in the classroom. So while the teacher's doing whole group, we have some, or small group, we have some opportunities for students to engage in some very high quality stations around the room. We're going to begin by doing that work in the integrated realm, and then as more training ensues throughout the year and we get into differentiated instruction around HQIP, we will go back and add a differentiated component to those learning stations. So keep an eye out for that invite. We look forward to working with you. In addition to that, we have a focus on secondary math again this year, and we're going to continue our work as we have with student discourse, with experiencing first and formalizing later, and we'll continue to work with our support staff there as well as our teachers. And we have a piece on our website that will also house a number of common formative assessments that might be utilized by multi-content teams. Let's say we have an algebra teacher, a geometry teacher, and an algebra 2 teacher. We've put together some examples of some great common formatives that might be used to really grow that work a little bit more. In addition to that, we're going to have a focus on FCTs again this year. One of the things we've noticed in our travels around the district and the quantitative and qualitative data that we have available to us is that often where we're seeing challenges is with our secondary folks, specifically those that might be involved in an FCT that's multi-grade, multi-content, or is a small school that has a lot of singletons. And so we're going to have a concerted effort on the district level to support those teachers and support those FCT groups. What I'm going to ask in that regard is that if you are in a group that is challenged or struggling, there's no problem there. We want to help. So I'm going to ask that our principals and our teacher leaders reach out and ask for the support of an ISS. ISSs will be asked to support at least 2 schools with going directly to those FCTs that need some help and support and taking them through a complete teaching and learning cycle, inclusive of arriving at a common goal in the group, as well as taking them through the rest of the teaching and learning cycle, creating a common formative or selecting a common formative, and utilizing that to analyze the data and make instructional decisions based on that data. So we have a really concerted effort this year on trying to support those folks that really need the help. Our ISSs are going to spend 70 percent of their time in schools, and we would like to have that targeted to teachers and administrators, specifically asking for help in certain areas. In our minds at the district level, the only consequence for not knowing how to do something should be more support. So we're interested in really getting out there and being part of the solution on all of this. I want to make sure that we put into the mix here is that we will have a continued focus on instructionally focused interactions. Instructionally focused interactions are really those conversations, feedback sessions, coaching sessions that ISSs and principals and APs can engage in with our teachers. We want to ensure that when we're coming into the classroom, there's a value-added component to that we have a really rich conversation about what we saw, and really helping teachers to unpack the reality of the classroom. And with the different initiatives that we have going on, really having an opportunity to think about, reflect on, and move forward on the processes and procedures that are being put in place and the different trainings that are coming your way. So you can anticipate a focus on coaching conversations and a focus on instructionally focused interactions throughout this year, as you were accustomed to last year. As part of that, some of the connections there will be the instructional rounds process and the teacher rounds process. Instructional rounds is the process that we support administration and teacher leaders with when they identify a school-wide problem of practice, and we go in, look at that problem of practice, and then provide feedback to the school about possible next steps in the next week, next month, next year. We're going to continue that process and formalize it even further this year. We're going to attempt to do not only a fall, but a spring instructional round in every building in the district to support our folks with hopefully really valuable feedback to move the needle. Teacher rounds was not mandated last year and will not be mandated this year, but I am looking for a group of volunteers, a group of teachers that are really interested in looking at that process as embedded professional learning for teachers. I think I've utilized this story before, but I think it's important to rediscuss this. As an administrator, when I first got into administration, the opportunity to go out and watch thousands of observations, I think really led to my deep understanding, core beliefs that I was able to develop about what great instruction looks like. And it was because of really great teachers out there that showed me the way. And what we really want to do is share that experience. So the teacher rounds process is really meant to be embedded professional learning, where a group of teachers goes in to watch a master teacher teach on a particular topic that they're interested in getting better in, and as a result of that, making commitments to go back to their own classrooms and try some of those things themselves. It is a great learning environment. And so once again, I've asked the ISS staff here at the district level to go out and find 2 volunteer groups at a minimum to lead them through and facilitate a teacher round and support teacher learning in an job-embedded way. We do want to get to the point where eventually teachers can lead those discussions and those procedures themselves and support each other on a much more regular basis with teacher rounds. So those are just a couple of things that we have in the mix. I want to take just a moment to discuss the fact that all of these things we're doing in conjunction with or in support of the work that we're trying to do in the field. And so the call to action on my part is I really need the teacher leaders and the teachers out there to request the help that they need, to really reach out and say, hey, we could use some help in our FCT. I need to have an ISS come out here and really facilitate and work with us and help us unpack and understand the way forward. And I need teacher leaders and teachers to say, hey, we really want to try that teacher rounds process here in our own building. So our call to action today is let's work together. Let's ensure that we're doing the very best that we can and that we shift the way that maybe central office has been looked at in the past. We're not really interested in this top down. We're interested in supporting you from the ground up. So as you develop the needs in your own building, let us come out and help you. Really looking forward to a great year, and I can't wait to see you as I travel around to the different schools. Feel free to pull me aside and tell me how things are going. Thank you very much, and welcome back.